Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to San Jose City College as we get ready for Bellarmine College Prep's final varsity football home game of the season. The Bells getting ready to take on their rival St. Francis in what should be a dandy here this evening. Alongside Carlo Jimenez, I'm Kevin Dana, welcoming you here to Bellarmine's home field at SJCC. Carlo, the Bells come into this one heavy underdogs, but it's a rivalry game. It's the Holy War. Anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing rivals, that's always the story. Anything can happen, and you're going up against the St. Francis team who's playing their third, fourth-string quarterback. And so the Bells, obviously, you're going to have that extra energy, a lot more fans in the crowd compared to last week. And we'll see if the Bells' Holy War game, anything can happen here tonight.
You mentioned last week a disappointing 14-0 loss at the hands of Sacred Heart Cathedral. First time in a while that the Bells had lost to the Fighting Irish. And in talking with Mike Janda during the week, he was pleased with what the team did in spurts defensively. But really, I mean, when you hear that scoreline, he just said, we got to find a way to get in the end zone.
Yeah, only in the red zone one time, and that one time you fumble the football inside the 10. And the Bells really, besides that, didn't move the football a lot. Furthest they got was about the 30-yard line. And tonight you're going against a really tough St. Francis defense. Josh Picola, the name that jumps out, the Stanford commit. And so you're going to have to, you need to move the football. And whether Janda needs to open the playbook, go to some trick plays early to get St. Francis on their heels, something has got to change from the last game against Cathedral because you're playing a stronger defense here tonight.
You mentioned trick plays, and that was something that came to my head this week when talking with Mike Janda. He did not mention anything about doing trick plays. Let me be clear on that. But this isn't a team that usually runs trick plays, but when he said we need to find a way to get in the end zone, maybe they throw out some gadgets here tonight.
I mean, what do they have to lose?
Yeah. So here we go. Bellarmine to boot it away with number 23, Andrew Schaefer. Couple of Lancers back deep to receive, and this one will be taken by Maurice Wilmer. No, it'll go through his hands and into the end zone for a touchback. Well, I guess the one thing Bellarmine has going for it coming into this game defensively is that you pretty much know what the Lancers are going to do offensively.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be running the football. They lost their first-string quarterback to a ACL tear earlier against SI in the season, and right now on their third string, we thought it was Daly, but it could be the kicker as well, Leahy. So we'll see who it is coming out right here. But Bells need to clog the middle, and we talked about before the game, Kevin, they got to send extra men every play. You know St. Francis is going to run the football. They're trying to clog up the middle.
It will be Ryan Daly, the quarterback. He is under center. The fullback, Nick Robinson. The running back, Thomas White Knight, excuse me, number 81 in the I formation. There's something on the field, and it gets quickly discarded by Travis Bell-Zede. The receiver out wide in the slot, it is Evan Williams, number 32. Those are your skill position players on the field. Travis Deneen in motion, the tight end. And this is going to be a handoff to White Knight. He had 16 carries last week, and he gets about 1 yard there. Nice tackle made by Joey Leiker.
Yeah, big opening drive right here for this Bellarmine defense. You want to shut down the run, allow only, just like that, 2-3 yard gains and force a punt and try to prove to St. Francis that they're going to have to be uncomfortable and throw the ball here in this game.
That'll bring up a 2nd and 9 at the 21, 11:30 clock running. Well, this is a team that lost a huge running back last year in Darrell Page. Rushed for a St. Francis record, 2,200 plus yards. He transferred to Homestead.
Backing up Cyrus, who's now at Oregon.
Cyrus Habibi Likio. And he has been a factor for the Ducks. Here's Opeti Fangupo going up the gut. And Bellarmine up to the task. Ben Richards leading the charge defensively. That'll be a gain of 4, and that brings up a 3rd and 5.
And Fangupo, Kevin, when you just look at him out there, 5'10", 235, puts his head down and is just going to run right over you. That's what he does right there. So the Bells, it's going to be important for Fangupo. You got to wrap up, and you got to get 3-4 guys there because it's going to solo tackles against Fangupo is going to be really tough here tonight.
Well, the senior Fangupo has rushed for 313 yards this year, 4.7 per toe to the rock, and he has 6 rushing touchdowns as a senior. So 3rd and call it 4. They give him 5 on that last run at the 26. Single back set. It's Fangupo, 2 receivers near side. Play action. Daly looking to pass over the middle. Has a guy wide open. It's Deneen. Down to the 30. He could go all the way, and making a touchdown saving tackle right at the end of that play was Luke Splain. But that is a huge gainer. 1st and goal inside the 5 for St. Francis.
And I think for Kevin, Bellarmine was thinking just what we're thinking there. You're going to have to run the football every play. Great play calling by St. Francis. You drop back the throw on 3rd down. Nobody's expecting it. Deneen has nobody in front of him. And a couple more strides, he would have had the end zone. And I think that really way to keep Bellarmine honest here early.
That's a 71-yard gain through the air as Bellarmine secondary, nobody home on the back end. And Deneen almost housed that one.
Pretty nice throw from Daly, and that's going to be a big confidence booster. Just 71 yards on your first completion.
Daly coming into this game was 11 for 25 through the air for 183 yards with a touchdown and a pick. I formation, Fongupo the deep back. Robinson the fullback. The handoff is to Fongupo. Running right side, breaks a couple of tackles, plows his way into the end zone for a 3-yard rushing touchdown. His 7th of the season, and St. Francis takes a 6-0 lead, PAT pending.
And there is a flag on the play on the far side, so we'll get the call. But, again, we just see it right there. Fongupo puts the shoulder pads down and goes into you, and he's able just to keep the legs churning, fights for a couple of yards. As we get the call here from the referees.
Touchdown's good. And it looked like a kind of a chop block called against Bellarmine. So you wonder if that's going to be assessed on the kickoff. And here's Michael Leahy, number 2, on to kick the extra point. The holder, Liam Quinn, number 22. Kick is up for the Lancers, and that is through. So 7-0 St. Francis, 9:45 to go first quarter off the 3-yard Opeti Fongupo touchdown rush.
And all it took was 4 plays, Kevin, and we talked about this St. Francis offense that was going to have to rely on the run, but clearly Daly did some work in practice. They go through him on 3rd down and 5. And a nice play for 71 yards, and that really hurts if you're the Bells, because now you can't play just the run. You're going to have to play both the rest of the game. You can't blitz extra men knowing you got man coverage in the back. And so your defense really, you have to do a lot more than what you thought you had to do going in, and the preparation for pass is just not the same when you know you're going against a 3rd-string quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Daly hadn't played in half the games this year, or he hadn't started all the games. Mentioned Jack Perry, their normal starting quarterback, tore his ACL against SI. And so Daly, he's had 25 pass attempts in just a handful of games. So not even averaging 10 attempts per contest, but struck big there with a 71-yarder.
Now the Bells, they need to respond. Something they coming out. First possession, 4 plays and a touchdown for the Lancers.
So Leahy will boot it away from the 40. It's Izon Henry and Adam Hayashi back deep to receive for head coach Mike Jana in his 35th season. 283 wins at the helm of BCP, going up against a legacy coach at St. Francis and Greg Calcagno. More on him later. 58-17 in his 6th season. This will be taken by Hayashi from the 6. Gets a couple of blocks and gets spilled at the 20. So the Bells, after the 14-yard return from Hayashi, will go to work from there. And yes, Carlo, they did get shut out. But I'll say this much, Bellarmine did move the football pretty well in spurts against Sacred Heart Cathedral last week.
Yeah, they were able to get the running game going, and I think one thing we saw nicely is when McGrone had time in the pocket, which was not too many times against Cathedral, he was able to throw some nice balls out there. As it looks like we had a penalty on the end of that play. I think it was unsportsmanlike conduct, a little extracurricular against St. Francis. It's going to move you up to the 35. But when the Bells get protection, everything is a lot more easier for this team. McGrone's able to make nice throws, and getting to the outside, I think is something else we'll see. Garcia, when he's in between the hash marks and the numbers, he does really well in space.
Harry McGrone, your starting quarterback, and it's a Splain lined up next to him. Bad snap, and McGrone's just going to have to fall on it. Mose Vavau put a couple of hands on him, but it didn't matter. He was down before that, and that's going to be a 9-yard loss on 1st down. So not the way you wanted to start this one offensively.
Yeah, that's tough if you're the Bells. Back at the 26-yard line, you got to get to the 45s. And 2nd and 19, you need a big gain right here if you want to make it close, or we might see Janda on 3rd. And that secondary is one of the best in the WCL.
So here we go, 3rd down and 20. McGrone back to pass, incomplete. Wide of Liker. Coverage on the play provided by Nick Duran. So 4th and 20, and really that was all the bad snap there on 1st and 10.
Yeah, you hope you can get a 3 and out here on the defensive end for this team, and then try to restart mentally, restart over this game. The muff snap, as you mentioned.
Should mention, Carlo, that Thomas Blevins, normal starting guard, out for the year, broke his ankle against Sacred Heart Cathedral. J.B. Pellegrin getting his first start this season at guard. Hayden Lackaboo, the other guard. Miguel Ramos, your center. Lewinsky and Mifsud, your tackles for the Bells, and your tight ends, Ryan Hagberg and Ben Richards. So here's Casey Jabe to boot it away from the 25. Couple of Lancers back deep. Rugby-style punt from Casey Jabe, and it's a nice one. Fair caught inside the 40 by Maurice Wilmer. And so they'll spot this one at, it looks like, the 37, and that'll be a 38-yard punt. No return. You'll take that net.
And Jabe, one of the better players on this Bellarmine team, also plays varsity soccer. And you see the soccer background right there.
Yep.
A nice punt to the 37. And now this Bellarmine defense is going to be playing with that last 71-yard catch and run in the back of their mind. So see how that affects them right here.
Nico Pohahu at right tackle for the Lancers. We'll try to get through their offensive lines. Salio Taliauli at right guard. The handoff to White Knight, who stays on his feet, keeps his legs churning, and turned what should have been a minus play into a gain of 1.
White Knight with the extra effort. And one thing that I noticed right there, when Bellarmine lined up Liker, Joey Liker was supposed to play man coverage to the far side and was kind of in between his man to the right and the line of scrimmage and did not even look when they went to hand the football off. So Bellarmine, despite that pass play, is still looking run every single down. So Liker on the near side, number 4, won't line up out there. He's going to line up instead inside the hash.
Matthew Azapardi, the 4th down. What a throw there by Daly.
And if Daly gets a little more on that and is able to lead Williams, Williams has eyes on beat, but just underthrown a little bit, and great protection by Henry, able to get his hand on the ball. It looked like at first Williams was going to come down with that football.
Yeah, it was a good-looking throw from Daly.
So the Bells get a 3 and out, just what they need after giving up the touchdown.
Michael Leahy to kick it away. Anthony Magri waiting just inside his own 20. This kick coming from the 43 of St. Francis. 6:33 to go first quarter. It's a 7-0 Lancer lead. This punt will drop inside the 30, go out of bounds at the 28 for a 29-yard punt. No return, and the Bells will have it 1st and 10 from there with 6:26 to go.
A big possession right now, really big first play for the Bells. You want to get some kind of yardage, get something going. The muff snap kind of threw you off, and already down 7.
Francis defense as this drive goes on. Here's a give, not a whole lot of room to roam there. A couple of yards on the carry, and on the carry there was Tyson Garcia. So 2nd down and 8. By the way, the defense for St. Francis up front. Defensive tackles Dante Giusti and Mose Vavao. Off a Somp, the nose tackle. Linebackers Josh Piccolo, Petty Fongupo, James Deneen, and Tyler McCabe. The safeties Nick Duran and Evan Williams. And the cornerbacks Maurice Wilmer and Christopher Centeno. Wilmer with 2 interceptions this year. Evan Williams with 3 picks. And there's a run to the outside that's going to be stuffed in the backfield. The Bells going to be facing a 3rd and long. Williams and, Deneen and Duran combining for the tackle.
And St. Francis read that one well. Bellarmine outnumbered, trying to block the outside, give it to Garcia. And worked again last week against Cathedral, and as we mentioned, some bigger bodies here for St. Francis. You get to see Josh Picola get in on anything. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellarmine runs opposite his way all game. Currently lined up on the near side. Big number 7.
listed as an outside linebacker, but he will play on the line. And 2 technique. Now the gun. Play action, Mingrown, throwing far side, almost intercepted. And if Nick Duran got his hands on that one, it's a 13-0 game.
Yeah, Duran jumped the route nicely and just slipped through his hands. We saw him jump up in the air, grab his head. And, yeah, it would have been 6 going the other way. Something interesting also to note, Bellarmine doubling Picola on the near side, hoping to contain him. And I think McGrone had a lot more time than he thought he had in the pocket right there. He released it really quickly.
Good protection.
Yeah, he had solid protection. So we'll see if Harry stands in there a little more as this game goes on.
So 4th and 10 from the 28, 4:58 to go. Jabe to boot it away. High snap. Almost blocked. This will take a bit of a Bellarmine hop. And Tyler Bowes and Dominic Gudadar will be there to down it at the 37. So that's a 35-yard punt, no return, and the Lancers will have decent field position just inside their own 40.
And the Bell's lucky to get that one off.
They put it at the 43. Could have sworn that.
It might have been touched early.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
I think it looked like Bellarmine did touch the ball after the second bounce.
Correct, good eyes, Carlos. So make that a 29-yard punt. Same distance that Leahy punted it. So here we go. Daly under center. Tongamoa, Joseph Tongamoa in motion, the tight end. Handoff is to White Knight. Bounces it to the outside. A lot of room to roam. Inside the 30. He could be gone. Garcia trying to catch up to him, and he will not be able to. A 57-yard touchdown run for Mr. White Knight.
Great blocking on the outside by St. Francis. Able to cut it off, create the huge hole. And 81 with just a burst of speed going upfield. Beats everybody to the end zone. And, Kevin, it's been the big plays for St. Francis. The 71-yard pass got him inside the 10. And right there, a big-time run for 60-plus for the end zone.
Thomas White Knight coming into this game had 23 rushes for 73 yards this year and a touchdown. That's his second rushing touchdown of the season. The Lancers leading 13-0, 4:36 to go here in the first quarter. Leahy's extra point is through the uprights and good. So it's a 14-0 Lancer edge. A little more than midway through the first. And this is kind of gut check time already for the Bells.
Yeah, if you're the Bells, you gotta. I mean, it's the first quarter with 4:36, Kevin, but you have to get on at least the other side of the field, and you'd love to put points on the board. You have yet to move the football.
Need a first down.
And if St. Francis is just going to keep forcing 3 and outs, the confidence is just going to keep rising. Daly's going to be more accurate and really going to stand in there longer, knowing that his defense is playing so stout on the other end.
Well, it looks like the scoreboard's having some issues.
We saw this pregame.
The officials can keep time down on the field.
I think that might be the way they go here. And it looks like they're asking both teams to come out.
Yeah, the left side of the scoreboard has gone black. And there we go. The bigger things to worry about. But
one way you can always swing the game, in my opinion, the best way, Kevin, special teams.
Yeah.
So let's see if Bellarmine can get a big return here. Try to get good field position for this offense.
They did get a personal foul penalty against St. Francis on the last return from Hayashi. They'll take another personal foul penalty with hopefully no one getting hurt. That one moving forward 15 more yards as this one is booted away by Leahy. Nice high kick, and Hayashi will take it from the 10. Here comes Hayashi. Has a lane and gets past the 30. Taken down before he can get to the 35. That was Mason Burke who made the special teams stop for the Lancers. And head coach Greg Calcagno mentioned that he's a legacy coach. His father, Ron Calcagno, was a former St. Francis coach, a legendary head coach who won 11 CCS titles over a 24-year span starting in 1972. Greg played football at Santa Clara back when they had a team and QB'd St. Francis to his first undefeated season back in 1982. So here we go, 4 receivers set for the Bells. McDrone back to pass, tossing near side, has a man. It's Packard who catches it, and he tried to put the ball forward an extra yard as he's ridden out of bounds by Williams.
Nice pickup on first down.
Yeah, they will spot that one at the 41, a gain of 8.
And Andrew Packard, they don't give him a lot of options, a lot of throws, but he's one of the better receivers on this Bellarmine team. Had a big game earlier in the year against Clovis, including a touchdown. So number 24, he's proven he's got the hands right there in the flat, able to run for a couple extra yards. Second and short coming up for the Bells.
Packard, the junior, St. Tris product. Handoff Garcia running to his right, has the first down. Good push from the offensive line, and they'll push that pile forward to the 46, a gain of 5 for Garcia, and the first down of the game for the Bells.
What we talked about, Kevin, the Bells need a first down and moving the ball right there. They get one, crowd a little fired up to our left. And I think something that's interesting to note, Janda going to throw, going spread on his third drive of the game. So already a little bit we're seeing Janda open up that playbook. And when the Bells have threats from can throw and run the football, it just makes everything a lot easier.
Liker lined up far side of the field. Handoff Garcia off right guard. No room to roam at all. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Tyler McCabe there. Got some help from Opeti Fongupo. And probably a couple more Lancers there, but no gain. That brings up 2nd and 10.
Yet to see Mangrone keep it on one of those.
And he is not afraid to run, so you can expect that later in the game. 3:30 to play here first quarter.
The Bells 5 yards away from the first time being in Lancer territory.
2nd and 10 from the 46. Play action, Mangrone. Here comes Piccola. Put some pressure on him, and I think for Bellarmine's sake, luckily that falls incomplete. Because Garcia was going to get tackled for a loss of 6 or 7 yards.
Mangrone's looking for Garcia in the flat with big Piccola chasing him to the right side. And now 3rd down where the Bells would love to convert and keep this drive alive, a drive that has worked because of their first down production.
Piccola coming into this game was credited with 4 quarterback hurries and 4.5 sacks. So just a note there, he had 7 sacks as a sophomore 2 years ago. 4-star recruit, number 188 recruit in the country according to 24/7 Sports. A hard commit to Stanford, committed just a couple of weeks ago to the Cardinal. Got a nice win last night at Arizona State. 3rd and 10 from the 46, 3:11 to go first quarter. Mangrone looking to the sideline. Yeah, he's going to call timeout. Not sure he had the play in from Mike Janda.
Yeah, it looked like it took him a while to line up for the Bells. We'll see if they do out of this timeout.
You can use that timeout in the first half, but if you find yourself down kind of a similar deficit in the second half, that would be a tough timeout to take because you're going to need your timeouts, especially in the second half.
Yeah, if this game's close, you're going to need them down the stretch, and you can't have mistakes like that. And this is a Bellarmine team that's pretty disciplined. We haven't seen them have those kind of mistakes at the line of scrimmage so far today. And so let's see what the Bells do. Go and spread, it looked like they're on 3rd down. What worked for them was the Packard throw to the outside. I think the Bells, a first down here, no matter the product of the rest of this drive, is a big confidence booster. No, St. Francis has not had any loss in confidence. Besides Daly being their 3rd stringer, they're having him play like they're first. He's stepped back to throw a lot more than we expected here, Kevin. So would not be surprised if we see another ball through the air.
The Lancers, I don't think, need to snap this one. And they don't look like they're in any hurry to do so. So that will take us to the first quarter break. 12 minutes down in the Holy War 2018 version. And it's all St. Francis thus far. But the Bells with a great opportunity to flip field position with a 3rd and 17 for the Lancers coming up from their own 10. We'll take the break, come back with the second quarter. You're watching Bellarmine Varsity Football on BCP Sports Live on YouTube. All right, second quarter about to begin. And the Bells, a chance to, like we said, get good field position with a 3rd and 17 stop here. Lancers at their own end. Kevin Dano alongside Carlo Jimenez.
Big time opportunity for the Bells. Spreading out though. St. Francis going 2 receivers each side.
A pistol formation here. Fongupo lining up behind Daly. Looking far side, checking it deep for Wilmer just over his head. Coverage on the play provided by Tyson Garcia and Anthony Magri.
And again, there's that long shot ball. And Kevin, every time St. Francis has stepped back to throw, and they're looking for the end zone and trying to get the streaks downfield. And you wonder if that's whether Daly is just better at that or if he really hasn't had the reps on offense to learn to get timing right with those outside receivers.
So he completed his first pass. They've all been deep balls, basically. He's 1 for 4 for 71 yards. 11:55 to go second quarter. Leahy on to boot it away. He's standing inside his own end zone right now, so a bad snap could put the Bells on the board.
Yeah, Magri on the St. Francis side of the 50-yard line.
Yep, at the 46. Line drive punt will take a Lancer hop into Bell territory. It'll be out and around the 46-yard line. That's a nice punt there by Leahy. It's going to be a 44-yard boot, no return. The Bells still have it near midfield at their own 46.
Opportunity here for the Bells. A first down puts you into St. Francis territory. You want to string a couple together. You move the ball, but I don't think they've really moved the ball in a significant way here so far. And in the second quarter, 14-0, you'd love to put points on the board and show the St. Francis defense this offense is a threat.
Mingrone going to hand it off. It's Garcia, and that hole closed up quickly.
One-on-one with Liker on the near side. So see if they go with that. Liker, number 4, has the speed going against Centennial. As up the middle has not been very effective for the guys in blue.
Yeah, Tyson Garcia officially, or unofficially we should say, 7 carries, 1 yard. Dante Giusti leading the charge there defensively, defensive lineman for the Lancers. It's 2nd and 10, 11-12 clock running second quarter. Lancers by 2 scores. Twins near side. Mingrone looking that way, lofting one downfield, well out of play. Magri took a bit of a shove from Williams, but that was over everybody's head. Uncatchable ball there, and it's 3rd and 10.
And again, Mingrone trying to squeeze one in there. And Magri walks back to the huddle with his hands up, like not sure where you're going to put that football. And so 3rd down and 10. Bell's trying to keep the chains moving.
Mingrone 2 for 7 for 12 yards through the air to this point. 3rd and 10 from the 46 as the Bells break the huddle. Trips near side, or far side, excuse me. Near side, it's Magri. Mingrone back to pass, lobbing one downfield and just behind his intended target. Incomplete for Pinelli. Step for step with him was Duran.
And just underthrown. Pinelli really didn't look back in time to kind of turn around and come to it. And so the Bells, although the good field position, don't move the football.
3 and out.
And so once again, KCJ back to punt.
They've had one drive where they've moved it. Otherwise, it's been 3 and outs. 3 and outs for the Bells. 10:58 to go. Here's Jabe. Nice punt. We'll take a good bounce. Wilmer's going to get out of the way, and this will be an inside the 20. It'll be down at the 15. Touching it there, Tyler Bowes, the long snapper, and so 1st and 10 for the 15. That's a 39-yard punt, no return.
Pinelli talking to Janda right now on that sideline.
I was just looking at that.
A little confusion about that last route as he goes and talks to Mingrone now, and then the 3 of them will discuss.
Yeah, Janda with a few words for Harry.
So now the Bells, once again, opportunity to pin St. Francis. And the Bellarmine defense, I think we've said it so many times in the past couple of games, Kevin, that's been pretty good.
Yeah.
Solid defense here for the Bells.
They've given them a chance. I formation for the Lancers. Deep back is Bishop. Rolling out and keeping it is Daly. Asking for a block. He gets it from Leahy. And Leahy finally dragged down by Garcia, but not before a gain of 19 yards on the keeper from Mr. Daly.
Daly, big time run. I think if he gets that block on the outside, might have had a couple more. But a lot of speed there at the quarterback position. And once again, what looked like was going to be a one-dimensional offense here tonight, Kevin, just opened up another option with that run from Daly.
Coming into this game, you look at the running numbers, and you would not expect that play to happen. Daly, 7 rushes for minus 14 yards, so figure he's been sacked a few times. 1st and 10 from the 34. I formation again. And again, well, now it's White Knight on the give. He had the 57-yard touchdown run. He picks his way forward past the 35 to about the 37 before he runs into a couple of bells. Leading the way there was Isaac Ketcher, number 20.
Bell's defense, you'd love a turnover right now. You have yet to really find that spark, that big play that gets you going. The biggest gain you have is an 8-yarder going to Packard on the near side pass. And let's see if this defense, who has played terrific so far, can spark your offense.
It's big and first
quarterback.
Yeah, he's looking a lot more mobile than the stats would indicate on Max Preps. 9:11 to go second quarter. It's 1st and 10 for the Lancers after the 8-yard pickup there by Daly on his feet.
See if the Bells can get a stop here.
I formation, 2 wide receivers. It's White Knight again. Right side, cuts it back up field and has another first down. Making the tackle there, Reese Burrill. Mentioned the sophomore. Having a nice year, learning the varsity game, but that is a 10-yard run for White Knight, who has 77 rushing yards. Came into this game with 73 rushing yards on the season.
And, you know, we talked about it just under 9 minutes here in the second quarter, 14-0. But really, Kevin, this is the first real drive St. Francis has been able to put together, getting first downs after first downs.
That's a good point.
And now moving into Bellarmine territory.
Francis, of course, Lincoln, San Jose High. Nice pass over the middle. Deneen with the catch, and wrestling him down was Magri, but not before another first down inside the 25. Deneen takes that one. It's going to be a pickup of 16.
And Deneen, big body, 6'4", 240. Magri, a great job of getting that solo tackle in space. And we've seen Deneen, he's got the legs and the huge build, and Magri just able to put his head down, wrap nicely.
Deneen, James Deneen, I believe I said Travis earlier. James Deneen with the, he was the one who had the 71-yard pickup on the big reception. Deneen making a 1st and 10 from the 21. White Knight hit behind the line of scrimmage. Nice play there. First guy there for the Bells was Luke Splain.
Pressure up the middle, and for the first time on this drive, Kevin, the Bells able to force no gain on first down. So let's see if they can set up these next 2 plays, and Bellarmine's able to force a kick, which would be ideal here as we approach halfway through this second quarter.
Yeah, for as impressive as this drive has been from St. Francis, again, if you keep them out of the end zone, force a field goal attempt, especially from this defense, certainly not a guaranteed 3 points. Still a 2-15.
St. Francis, I think across the board, the running backs run with their head downs, and it's going to take 2 or 3 guys to get there to tackle them. And for Bellarmine, that's been trouble, as White Knight and Van Gupo have been able to get a couple extra yards after contact.
So 3rd and 5 from the Bell 16. 5:50 to go, a little more than midway through the second quarter. White Knight, the deep back in the I formation. Daly back to pass, 3-step drop. Back shoulder throw, a beauty, and it's hung on, caught for a touchdown by Williams.
What a catch from Evan Williams. Back shoulder reaches below the waist and then turns towards the end zone. He's got big time offers from schools, and seeing the athleticism right there. Kevin, I don't know if you remember, but back in the state championship, Williams, both the touchdowns for St. Francis, both one-handed grabs in the corners of the end zone. So a guy with hands like glue, and big-time catch right there from 32.
Yeah, Williams, a guy who averaged more than 18 yards per reception last year, had 30 catches for 546 yards and 12 touchdowns for a very dynamic offense that won a state championship. As St. Francis last year having quite the season, 11-4, CIF Division IIA state champs, defeating Grace Brethren 22-13 in the finals. So it's 21-0 St. Francis with 5:39 to go.
You got to put points on the board if you're the Bells. You got to put a drive together. You got to go down, and you got to put at least 3 on the board. St. Francis, it's at the point of this game where St. Francis gets another score, and you're looking at a 4-possession game. And for a Bellarmine offense that has struggled to move the football, even for an offense that does move the football effectively, that's really tough to do going into a second half. So you need to shrink in that gap. You're going to get the football at halftime, so ideally you put a nice drive together here, put some points on the board, and then try to go back to work in half number 2.
Leahy will kick it off from the 40. Again, Hayashi and Henry deep, standing at the goal line. This one returnable for Hayashi from the 8. Gets past one Lancer. Ooh, picks his way through a cluster of players and gets up to the 31, 23-yard return. Nicely done by Hayashi.
Hayashi's with some pretty good returns here, setting up the Bells nicely. His last 2 times have been starting their field position past the 30-yard line. The one play that's worked so far was the pass to Packard. And let's see if they continue to go spread. Not Harry McGrone, I think, compared to last game, I think he's had a little more time, Kevin.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if he gets more comfortable, as he took some big shots last week. And so he might still be feeling that.
He's been sacked once by Picola. 1st and 10 from the 31. Here's the handoff. It's Garcia. Nice run. Slips a couple of tackles and gets up near the 40. They're actually, well, that is quite the spot they gave him. They're going to give him the 42, a gain of 11. Not sure I saw him get that far up the field, but hey, the Bells will take it.
The Bells will take it. That is correct. Garcia able to slip through a couple tackles up the middle, and when he gets in space, he's got the wheels to take it to the house.
That's the longest play from scrimmage for the Bells this evening, that 11-yard gain. They had the 8-yard reception by Packard. That was the previous long. There we go, 1st and 10 from the 42. Bunch formation. Garcia again, not this time. Giusti holding up the play. It's back to the line of scrimmage and no gain.
Nothing going on 1st down from the Bells, and that's been a critical down here for this offense. It seems like, Kevin, when they're able to get big gains on 1st downs, they're going to get the 1st down on that drive. Yeah. And so let's see, the Bells need 5 or 6 yards here on 2nd down. Try to keep the chains moving here with 4:30 in the 2nd quarter.
2nd and 10 from the 42. Out of the gun, Mingrone. 3 receivers set, lined up near side. It's Mogg. It's going to be a 2-yard loss, turns into a 17-yard gain.
Thanks.
Formation here, Fongupo lining up behind Daly. Delayed handoff.
But a nice delayed handoff there from St. Francis.
Daly looking deep. Has Wilmer, and he dropped it. You saw Tyson Garcia. He was going to kind of stopped covering Wilmer to play the ball. Just got over his fingertips, and maybe that his hand getting up in Wilmer's line of sight was enough to force the drop.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times by these Bellarmine cornerbacks. Kind of getting caught ball watching on these deep throws. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to San Jose City College for this West Catholic Athletic League Friday night action here. Bellarmine Bells playing against the St. Francis Lancers. Holy Wars score at the halftime, 21-0. It's been a dominant performance by the visiting Lancer team. Carlo Jimenez alongside Kevin Dana here with you for the second half. Well, Kevin, what have you seen from this Lancer team who looked like they should have had a touchdown on that last drive, but a big-time penalty forced them back all the way to their 31-yard line? How do they keep adding points on the board, and what has really worked for them so far?
Well, we talked about in the first half really a couple of big plays helping to separate the Lancers from the Bells. You had the 71-yard pass from Daly to Deneen. Then, of course, you had the 57-yard touchdown run from Thomas White Knight. That made it 14-0 at the point. So Bellarmine had kind of played solid defense in spurts, but then you saw that one long drive that led to points for St. Francis. Really, the Bells lucky to not be down 28-0 at this point. And if you look at the stats, they tell you the story in this one. The Lancers outgaining the Bells 261-16.
Yeah, you talked about it. 2 gains for St. Francis of 70 yards plus, and that's equating to 2 of these touchdowns. Well, Bellarmine has forced a couple 3-and-outs. They've played well. But Kevin, what is this Bellarmine team, particularly on the offensive end, how are they going to get some momentum going against a stout St. Francis defense?
I feel like their best chance is the quick passing game, kind of seeing the quick outs to Packard. That has worked a couple of times, a couple of 8-yard gains there. Those have kind of been your biggest plays outside the one Garcia run for 11 yards. The rushing attack really hasn't been there. Now, the rushing numbers are skewed because of the 9-yard loss on the bad snap and the 7-yard sack of Mingrone, but Tyson Garcia just 9 carries for 12 yards and had 11 yards on one of those carries. So really, outside of that, 8 carries for 1 yard. So that's not working. I think your best chance is through the passing game, try to get back into this one. They've had success in spurts there throughout the course of the season, had a couple of nice gains earlier. One thing I've been monitoring is Miguel Ramos, the center who kind of hobbled off the field near the end of the first half. He was practicing some shotgun snaps here on the sideline. He has his helmet on. It looks like he will be good to go for the second half, but we'll see.
And good news for a Bellarmine offensive line that has already been hampered by injury. Of course, Blevins breaking that ankle last week. J.B. Pellegrin in there at right guard. So the Bells will come out and get the football to start this second half. And a statement drive here for the Bells, Kevin.
Yeah.
This is a chance you have to show St. Francis. You're only down 21-0. So although it's been dominant, you have the ability to still flip the script here in the second half.
It's mathematically possible. That's for sure. But you're going to need a great first drive. And you're going up against a team that's ranked 5th in the area by the Bay Area News Group, a team that had a nice win over Notre Dame of Sherman Oaks earlier this year, plastered Oak Grove, defeated Valley Christian, getting there's just one touchdown in that game from Mopetti Foncupo. Outside of that, destroying Reardon, handling St. Ignatius, defeating Sacred Heart Cathedral by a couple of scores. Their only loss to De La Salle. So this is a proven team, a team that's coming off a state championship and could certainly put another one up this year.
So back to receive, it looks like Henry along with Hayashi. Hayashi's had a couple of good runs. He's gotten Bellarmine past the 30-yard line about 3 times, or for three times this game. And he set them up nicely. And I think one area, we talked about it later in that first half, special teams has been a strength of this Bellarmine team here. Yeah,
if you can spring one here, Hayashi with a 23-yard return last time. Leahy hasn't been able to boot it to the end zone yet. Well, that was close.
It'll be Hayashi again. Gets to the 20-yard line, spins through a couple tackles, and takes a big hit out at the 25. Tackle there looked like by number 35, John Hart, with the huge hit against Hayashi.
Yeah.
It was gonna come
he went horizontal there. That's how violent that hit was. Nice play there by Hart.
So the Bells come out with Mingrone as they'll get set here for the first offensive possession. 11:54 on that clock to start this game. 21-0, Lancers on top here in the second half. The Bells will start out at the 25-yard line. Bunch formation here for Bellarmine. One thing Bells have done nicely, Pecola only 1 sack, has really been not a huge factor so far. They're going to hand it off to Henry coming near side. And getting there first, it looks like number 58, Safont on the tackle. Eyes on, able to get a loss of about 1 yard there, bringing up 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, so Ramos is snapping. Good to see that he is in there and he is healthy enough to play in this one. That's Izon's first carry. Mike Janda is saying Henry will run when we ask him to. Let's see if they can get some more life in this offense by way of Izon Henry.
In the backfield again, Harry in the shotgun. He's gonna fake the snap, roll out near side, and is sacked in the backfield. St. Francis all over that one.
And that was soft again. So you have the TFL against Henry, the sack on Harry.
And that 9-yard sack there on 2nd down. And I think just the opposite of what the Bells were hoping to do on this opening drive. They've gone backwards 10 yards to the 15. And a 3rd down and 20 coming up right here.
Well, they faced a 3rd and 20 on their first offensive possession in the first half. They faced a 3rd and 20 in their first offensive possession in the second half.
The Bells need to get something going. Packard has been working. And I think if you're Mike Janda, you need a play that's going to ignite some energy into this offense that has been pretty lifeless so far. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Henry trying to get outside of Pecola. And Pecola strips the ball. St. Francis Williams picks it up. Williams trying to work against Pinelli. And Pinelli with a touchdown saving tackle. But Josh Pecola able to strip Izon Henry coming near side. Williams was looking for the end zone in a shoestring tackle made by Pinelli. St. Francis off the turnover is going to get the ball inside the 10.
That's just a heads-up play from Pecola. And again, this is a 4-star recruit. He's going to be playing at Stanford next year. And you saw it. He was looking for that ball the whole time. He knew exactly what he had to do and came down hard on that right arm of Henry and coughed it up.
Yeah, swiped with that right hand. Definitely somebody, when you're a big body like Pecola, 6'4", 225, he's going to be looking to take the ball away every chance he can. And now the Lancers knocking on the door here with 10-19. Already up 21-0, trying to add more to the lead. Under center is Daly. He's going to hand off to White Knight. White Knight's got a hole, and he's going to trot into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Francis.
Hey,
so untouched for number 81, and 27-0. St. Francis in one play gets the score.
Yeah, great job by that St. Francis offensive line. That right side of the line really pushing the defensive line off the line of scrimmage for Bellarmine. And just like that, the Lancers blowing this one open.
So White Knight gets his 2nd touchdown of the night on the 9-yard carry. Off the turnover by Pecola. The kick is up for the Lancers, and that one is through. So 10-14 on the clock. Bellarmine backed up. It was a 3rd down and 20, and Josh Pecola, the Stanford commit, as you mentioned, makes something happen on the strip, and St. Francis, an offense that has looked untouchable, just able to do what it does best and put one in the end zone. It's a tough start if you're the Bells. It's a gut punch.
If you're the Bells, you can't look up at the scoreboard right now. You just got to be hyper-focused right now, possession by possession, and not worry about trying to make it all back in one play, because that's impossible. And just see if you can kind of turn the tide in this game slowly and let the chips fall where they may when it's all said and done.
Large student section here. Bells would definitely get the energy from them. We've just yet to see that play, Kevin. That play, that 20-yard gain, that 25-yard pass, something to the outside with some energy. The Bells, their largest gain of the night was an 11-yard run by Garcia up the middle, and that looked like he was going to be tackled in the backfield for a loss. And so for Bellarmine, you wonder if you can get that play. You need something like St. Francis had early, 71-yard pass. And a big-time run by White Knight early in that first half. The Bells could use the same on their side. So back is Hayashin and Henry again. So with 10-14, the Lancers up by 28. Here's the kick. Hayashi's going to take it back at the 4. Gets to the 15, now to the 20. Is grabbed by the jersey and thrown down. Tackled on the play by number 40, Logan Herman. Able to just grab that left shoulder pad. And so the Bells will go ahead and start the opening possession, or the possession after the touchdown at around the 23.
The Bells have 8 yards of total offense right now by our calculations. So, yeah, they need to figure something out here.
One of the referees coming off a game against Cathedral, which you really expected Bellarmine to maybe move the ball on the offensive end, and nothing really going. And you wonder if they came in with that same kind of.
Hey, you expect to win that game.
Yeah. So here's the snap from Ingrone, looking to pass. A lot of time here in the pocket. Nothing going downfield. Flag on the play. And I think a secondary sack right there, really, Kevin, as Ingrone had the time, but nobody downfield.
Well, it is a penalty against St. Francis. They're going to call a face mask, I believe. Deneen had him by the jersey.
Depends on if it's a 5-yard or a 15-yard. Looks like this one's going to be a 5-yard face mask.
Either way, the Bells will. Yeah, and it'll be a 5-yard. So
St. Francis once again the penalty, keeping the Bells with some chance. Some hope right here. There's 10 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Shout out to the Bellarmine band for giving us some waffles.
Warm waffles are always welcome. Let's see if this Bellarmine offense can get hot right here. Be a great time too. They got Magri and Pinelli split out to the left side. Near side is Packard, who's got the 2 receptions we mentioned earlier. Centennial playing way off of them on the near side. It's going to be a handoff to Henry. Henry makes a couple moves, and Picola almost ripped the ball again. He was ball hunting, but instead Henry able to hang on, and a nice 7-yard gain brings up first down, moves the chains for the Bells.
There you go, Henry. 3 carries, 9 yards now. 10 carries, 10 yards in his last 2 carries after the -1 initial touch.
So the Bells move the ball at the 36-yard line. First and 10 coming with 9:27 on the clock. Harry's going to step back to throw again over the middle, looking for Pinelli. He's got him. Tackled back by number 14, Matthew Craig, but not after a big-time gain there by the Bells as they move it into St. Francis territory.
It's a 21-yard pickup, and that's a quote-unquote Dilford dime from Harry Ingrone. You throw it right over the second-level defense and drop it in before the safeties can come up and make the play. Great throw to Pinelli.
And Pinelli able to find the soft spot, and Bellarmine moving the football here with 9:05 here in the third quarter. Here's going to be a handoff to Henry. Cuts it back up the middle and is swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. The Bells continue to go inside, Kevin, but really I think the passing game has been a lot more successful here against St. Francis.
Yeah, you've had a couple of good runs, the 8-yarder from Henry, the 11-yarder from Garcia, but outside of that, the Lancers have dominated the line of scrimmage. So, yeah, airing it out has been their best bet.
8:34 and counting here in the third quarter. St. Francis on top, 28-0. The Bells trying to put points on the board here in this Holy War game at San Jose City College. Senior night for Harry Ingrone as he steps into the shotgun formation.
Tyreek Madriz Jinx lined up at wide receiver.
There's going to be a handoff to eyes on Henry, and once again Henry gets back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. So the Bells will come bring up third down and 10. We'll see if they go through the air here. On third down, ball at the 43-yard line. Bellarmine trying to keep the drive alive after a nice 21-yard strike to Pinelli. First completion to number 3 on the night. Again, Jinx lined up near side. They're going to go his way. Ingrone airing it out over Centennial, and just an overthrown ball had him on the far side. Picola was coming with the pressure, and the incomplete pass is going to bring out the punt team for the Bells after what looked like could have been a promising drive after the Pinelli catch. He's going to end up And a punt for Bellarmine.
Hey, you might be asking yourself, why is Bellarmine punting down 28-0? You have a 4th and 10. You're in decent field position inside Lancer territory. And you're not really looking at the score right now if you're Bellarmine. You're trying to think you can pin them deep, and then maybe you can make a play on defense and try to get yourself back into the game that way.
Back to receive is Wilmer, along with Bell Duaze. Duaze takes the carry, takes the punt, and runs it out to the 20-yard line. And I think, Kevin, that's one of the best field position starts for St. Francis all game, out at that 20. Casey Jabe has done a really nice job of pinning this team inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, he did. That one, that was a line drive, so it gave Belziti a chance to return that a little bit. But that said, not great field position for the Lancers.
So their start, they'll drive at the 20-yard line, 7:26 on the clock here for the Lancers. Daly under center. The back is White Knight. It's going to be a handoff to White Knight, and a flag comes in, and it looks like it's going to be a false start on the Lancers. And once again, it seems like St. Francis cannot go a drive without a yellow flag, as they'll go 5 yards backwards and make it 1st and 15 from the 15.
Yeah, I guarantee you that's what they're going to be talking about with his team, Greg Calcagno and his staff. That, I mean, yeah, this has been a dominant performance, but can't make these penalties when it comes CCS playoffs, CIS state playoffs time.
Yeah, if you're going to continue with Daly, you got to play very disciplined football. And Daly adding an extra element with that mobile QB. Let's see if we see him run right here. White Knight the back. It's going to be a handoff to him, running right side, and he is dragged down by Luke Splain back at the line of scrimmage. So nice pursuit by number 8. And with 7:14, bringing up 2nd down and 15 for the Lancers.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Carlo. Great pursuit from the backside by Luke Splain, making a nice play there.
Number 8, it's Luke Splain, somebody who, captain of this defense, you'll see him going 100% no matter the score, no matter the time in the game, every single play. And true leader by example, product of St. Francis Cabrini. As it's split receivers, single back here is Robinson. Or Bishop, correction. It's going to be a handoff to Bishop. Near side, he's got Green in front of him, trying to break to the outside, and a nice tackle by Izon Henry at the 20. Henry able to make sure that Bishop doesn't get to that sideline, and so a 3rd down coming up, about 3rd and 9 for the Lancers, as Bishop brought that one to the 21-yard line.
To borrow a term from Yogi Roth of Pac-12 Network, that was a grad-level stuff right there from Izon Henry. Coming off his block to make the ankle tackle, that was really impressive.
Yeah, able to keep the run on the inside, as it looked like Bishop had a lot of room in front of him. And so here comes a 3rd down where the Bells could force a punt. Under center is Daly. Robinson, or Bishop the back. The fullback is Robinson, correction. 2 receivers split out. It's going to be back to throw for Daly. Rolling out to his right side, looking to run. He's going to try to go to the 1st down and is shoved out of bounds. Flag comes down at the end of the play. It looks like he was short of that 1st down marker.
Yeah, and where the flag came down at the 18, that's kind of like in the area of a block in the back potentially. Yeah, I think Bellarmine's going to decline this.
Yeah, it didn't look like Daly got there. He was trying to get to the outside. Bellarmine did a good job of breaking down that play. Good coverage down the field. Nothing there for the QB. And so with 5:40 here in the 3rd quarter, see what the penalty is. It looks like the punt team is coming out for St. Francis. As you talk to Mike Janda, and it looks like he'll decline the penalty. There's a block in the back on the Lancers. That one's declined. Bells force a 3 and out, and now we'll get the ball back. Once again, the Bells a good stop. After St. Francis made it a lot harder than it should have been after the false start. And I think the Lancers have done that a lot tonight, making it a lot harder than they should be for the guys in white. So being grown back to receive the kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a point of pride if you're Bellarmine. You don't want this game to be going to running clock on your home field on senior night against your biggest rival.
Ball's going to roll past the 30. Great bounce
Mockery
for St.
got
Francis.
dangerously close to that. Looked like it just kind of hopped right over his shoe.
So the Bells will start around the 23-yard line with 5:26 to play here in quarter number 3, down 28-0. And interesting by the Bells, Kevin, as they ran the ball twice when they got into St. Francis territory, both for no gain up the middle. And so let's see if Janda continues to go to that or tries to look elsewhere for some offensive production.
That's a good point you bring up. I also just want to shout out Michael Leahy there. That was a 50-yard punt, no return. A lot on the bounce, but still well done.
Mingrone in the back takes the snap. It's going to be a screen play to Magri. He's going to catch it at the 20, run forward for around the 27. And a nice play from the Bells. For the first time we've seen a screen on the outside. Looks like Williams was there along with Van Gupo on the tackle.
I like that call.
I think it's an easy pass for Mingrone to complete. Get confidence going.
Yep.
And Anthony Magri, the track athlete's got a lot of speed. Get a couple blockers in front of him.
Yeah, and considering how big St. Francis is just up front, you're going to have more success, you would think, on the edges. Not saying that St. Francis is weak on the edges. They got a lot of great playmakers there, but there's less of a size differential outside.
Mingrone keeps it on 2nd and 5 and is dropped at the line of scrimmage, trying to break to the outside. Looked like into there for the Lancers was Safont again. We've called his name a lot tonight. And so 3rd down and 3 from the 29 coming up for the Bells. Mingrone, I believe that's his first time carrying the football.
Yeah, he's taken 2 sacks, but that was the first design run for Harry Mingrone.
And although there's a lot of big bodies, and those big bodies have speed on the outside for the St. Francis team, they've been a good job of keeping everything for Bellarmine towards the middle of the field. As we approach 4 minutes, 3rd and 3 coming. Mingrone's looking near side again for Packard, and just had to release that one a little too early. Nothing there for Andrew Packard, and the punt team again will jog out for Bell.
Yeah, that's a timing route, and they weren't quite synced up.
So with 3:58, the Bells will have to boot it away. Belzide along with Wilmer back there for St. Francis, standing around the 35-yard line. Casey Jabe has done an excellent job so far tonight punting the football. He'll punt it from around his 15. Rugby-style punt. It's going to go back to the 36, and it's going to be fair caught by Wilmer. Kind of a line drive. But a good punt from Jabe, and the Lancers will set up shop, up 21-0.
34-yard punt, no return. They're going to officially spot him at the 37.
Scoreboard says 34. I believe it's still 28. I know it's still 28.
I don't know where they got that extra 6 points. Because they made the signal to, like, run the clock, but when yeah, it's 28-0, we're pretty sure.
Our scoreboard's right on the stream.
Yeah. We believe in the powers of math that Sam Rowan has. Our scoreboard operator tonight.
Single back is White Knight. It's going to be a handoff to him right side, powering ahead. And stopped short after a gain of about 3. Gets to the 40-yard line.
The clock's not running now. Now they put it down to 28. All right, we haven't gone crazy on the broadcast.
So the Lancers get 3 from White Knight, who's got a lot of touches tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, 11 carries, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Of course, had that 57-yard touchdown run, and then the touchdown on the first play from scrimmage after the fumble recovery, the 8-yarder. He's been nice, a little more than 8 yards per carry. Scoreboard's going haywire again.
It's going to be a handoff up the middle again. And it looked like we had a new ball carrier on that play. Number 30 for St. Francis, Anthony Smith.
Yep.
The 5'10", 175 senior, 29 carries on the year for 91 yards, averaging about 3 a carry. It's no gain on that front. And so 3rd down, once again, the Bells force a 3rd down or the St. Francis team. This Bellarmine defense that has really kept them in the game with stops on the defensive end. It looked like it was going to be a long game when the Lancers were able to get the 71-yard pass to White Knight, but since there's a couple of big plays, Bellarmine has played pretty well on the defensive end. So Smith again, the back. It's dropping back to throw is Daly. He's going to try to throw it away. Nobody in the vicinity.
That's grounding. There was nobody there. He was not outside of the pocket.
No flag on the play.
There we go.
And there it is. So it'll be a loss of down along with some yards back. With 2:33, the Bells should get the football, will get the football back. Here in quarter number 3, down 28-0.
So that's a loss of down as well as loss of yardage. Yeah, I mean, the Bells have played with pride certainly tonight. You got to be pleased with the effort here. You're going up against a much bigger team with a lot more highly touted recruits.
Bells have held their own. I think they have played with the same energy that they have from the opening snap. So you talked about a team that is very prideful, a program of excellence here for this Bellarmine football team. As Magri's going to receive that punt, drops it from Leahy, and then avoids a couple tackles back at the 37, and frustrated with himself right there. But somehow Anthony Magri muffed that punt and then got up and was able to get a couple yards.
Yeah, I thought that he was automatically going to be down at around the 35, and then he's mad at himself because he slipped. And if he didn't slip there, he could be past midfield.
Missed opportunity there for the Bells as they'll come out ball at the 42-yard line. So pretty good field position for this Bellarmine team. You'd love to put 7 on the board before quarter number 4. Would not make it impossible. All it takes is one play.
And also from a pride standpoint, you don't want to be shut out 2 weeks in a row. You got to try to get to the end zone at least once, which obviously they're trying to do.
Split receivers for Mangrone. He's going to delay handoff to Izon, and Henry gets back, or he's going to be tackled for about a 1 yard loss back to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, heads up play by Tyler McCabe, number 55 there for the Lancers. If Henry slips that tackle, it could have been a pretty good gainer.
The Bells, when they're productive on first down,
I mean, that's the whole key.
It's been a lot easier for them, but when St. Francis really controlled the trenches all night, and nothing going for Henry as he's going to trot off near side. Here comes trips to the near side. Far side receiver is Andrew Packard. Single back for Mangrone. He's going to take the snap. Pressure coming from Picola, and looks like coming along with them, number 45, Rouse. So 2 Lancers able to put the pressure on Mangrone, and an 11-yard sack puts him back at the 30-yard line. 3rd down and forever coming up for the home team.
Yeah. And Karsten Rawls should say, he had a couple of nice plays on defense in games that have kind of been out of question, kind of late, quote-unquote, garbage time. But he's an interesting kid, just a sophomore, 6'1", 186. He has the size to be a pretty good player for Calcano for the next couple of years.
So as we reach under a minute here in the 3rd quarter, Mangrone will step back to pass on 3rd down. He's going to chuck it long, looking for Liker, and 2 Lancers collide there. It looked like Centennial as well as Matthew Craig, and there's a flag down on the play.
Yeah, I think it's pass interference on Centeno for interfering with Matthew Craig. Like, that's the only contact I saw there.
Unless you could argue that Liker threw Craig into Centennial, but we do have an injured Bell here on the near side. And it looks like another offensive lineman, which would be a tough loss for this line that's already been crippled.
I think it might be Ramos, because I don't see 68 standing up.
So 43 on the clock for this 3rd quarter. Hayden Lackabu is going to single over to the sideline for a substitution.
Yeah, it's going to be Eli Hall coming in.
As the flag moved the ball up 15 yards. So I think it was pass interference or a personal foul on this St. Francis team.
Yeah.
And so 3rd down and 20 plus comes 3rd down and 8. And he's coming off his Ramos.
Yeah, I mean, he gave it a go. He tried to fight back from getting hampered in the first half. He showed a lot of grit tonight, but yeah, I think his night's over.
So McGrone now dealing with a new snapper. There's one more element for the Bells in a night where not a lot has gone their way.
So 74 Hall is who came on for him. We'll see if he is the guy snapping.
McGrone will trot out there. The clock will stop at 43 seconds. Bells facing a 3rd down and 7 from the 45 after the penalty. Liker comes off late near side.
It's going to be Mifsud. This will be acting as center.
So McGrone in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right. He's going to take the snap and look that way. Throwing, looking for Pinelli. Ball's tipped up, and Matthew Pinelli had a chance as that one was tipped up, just unable to regain his footing, as for the 2nd time in a row, 2 Lancer defenders have come together wanting to intercept that football and instead batted it down.
A couple of high-risk, high-reward throws there from Harry McGrone. You can't blame him down 28, trying to make something happen. You don't want to get shut out for the 2nd straight week, but almost threw 2 picks. And then you mentioned it, Pinelli's momentum just kind of carrying him away.
So with 38.3 here in the 3rd, 28-0 St. Francis. Bellarmine not allowed a touchdown or has allowed 1 touchdown in this 3rd quarter. Played pretty well since then. And it was a touchdown in which they were pinned back at where St. Francis started with at the 8-yard line. Here comes Wilmer. He's going to go right side, now makes a move, still trying to break to the outside, running a long way for no gain. And he's going to be thrown out of bounds around the 23-yard line.
Yeah, again, those special teams, Carlo, they've been impressive for Bellarmine. Good coverage there. Seen Jabe with some good punts, some good returns from Hayashi. That's certainly something to take away from this game.
And one thing that I think to notice, Kevin, is Tyson Garcia has yet to get a snap here in this 2nd half, kind of limping on that far sideline. His left ankle is taped up after the injury against Cathedral. And
Jan is saying he's just at a point, he's not going to be 100% the rest of the way. He's just gutting through it.
So 24.7, Lancers up by 4 scores. 28-0 the lead. As they'll line up, White Knight the back. He's been the most consistent back of the night. He's going to run to the right side, trying to break to the outside. Nice tackle there. Looks like number 21 for the Bells, Anthony Magri, on the tackle in pursuit of White Knight. And a gain of about 2 on the play, as that looks like that will be the last play of our 3rd quarter. Well, when we come back, it will be Kevin Dana back on the mic for play-by-play. Lancers get a score. Bells unable to put points on the board. 28-0. The final 12 minutes coming up right after this.
Back for the start of the 4th quarter. It's 28-0 St. Francis leading. Bellarmine, Kevin Dana Alongside Carlo Jimenez, it's a 2nd and 8 for the Lancer attack. Pitch goes out to Bishop. And good pursuit by Reese Barillo, wraps him up for a 5-yard loss at the 20.
And Bishop carrying that ball kind of lackadaisical. He had it out there. And you saw Coach Amarias on the near side kind of jump up at that opportunity. And Bells have stripped the ball one time against Bishop. And the turnover right here would give your offense best field position of the night. There's a 3rd down and 13 is coming up.
Yeah, Bishop came into this game with 450 rushing yards, 6.6 per carry, 3 touchdowns. He led the team in rushing average per carry, but he has been held to 1 yard on 4 carries. So 3rd and 13. Lancers in no hurry. I formation, 2 receivers far side. Back to pass, Daly. Faces some pressure through the hands of Deneen. Just a little too hot to handle Burrill with the coverage. And 4th and 13, the Bells get a stop and the clock stops with 10:59 to go.
A nice throw there from Daly. I mean, had Deneen went through his hands. And I think one thing that's been really nice for St. Francis is Ryan Daly has proven that he can run this offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done tonight. He's thrown the ball very well. He's played smart, has yet to really force anything. And he's shown the ability to run with the football, which is an added element to this already multi-weapon Bellarmine or St. Francis offense.
5 of 10, 106 yards and a touchdown. Magri standing just on the minus side of the 50 at the 49. Leahy to boot it away from the 20. He's standing inside his own 10, but of course the yardage starts from the 20. That's going to go out around midfield, and they will mark it at the 47, 33-yard punt, no return. Bells take over with 10:54 remaining. What do you want to see on offense from this possession from the Bells, Carlo?
I think you talked about it. Just don't look up at the score and play for pride. Play your senior night. Harry McGrone is playing in his last game at San Jose City College. And I think give Harry a couple chances. I think we've seen that so far. He's been effective when he's had time.
Bells wrap up at Valley Christian and at St. Ignatius for the Lancers. It's at home against Mitty and then at Sarah in a huge WCAL game. Could decide the conference crown. Shotgun snap, Hayashi. No, it's going to be up the gut off the fake. The keep there for Mingrone, a gain of 3.
Nice job by McGrone, really keeping that ball in Hayashi's gut until the last second and opened up a little hole for him. And so 2nd down and about 7 coming up here for the Bells.
A 2nd and a long 7. Mingrone gets the play from Janda on the sideline. 10:20 clock running. We'll call it midfield. It's just beyond the 49-yard line, so we'll give him the 50. Packard out far side. It's Pinelli and Magri near side, the 3 receivers. Design run there and nowhere to go for Mingrone. Leading the charge off of Soft, number 58. It's going to be a loss of 1, 3rd down and 8.
I think, Kevin, you're at about midfield, as you mentioned. 3rd down and 8 coming up. Yet to see really that trick play from the Bells, who don't do it often. But right now, with 9:38 to go in this 4th quarter, you're down by 4 touchdowns. Why not reach into that back of the playbook and play with some razzle-dazzle here?
We'll see. Henry, the running back. Splain, the fullback. Good protection. McGrone looking downfield, and that pass batted down by Karsten Rawls. And that brings up 4th down. And Bellarmine will bring on the special teams unit. The Karsten Rawls, a sack, pass breakup. Nice work from 45.
I think this whole St. Francis front 4 has played very, very well. as Casey Jabe will go to do what he's been all too familiar with, punting the football away.
Bellarmine and Wilmer standing around their own 15. Here comes the punt from Jabe. That's another good one. Be taken by Wilmer from the 9. Gets a block from Bellarmine. Stiff arm to Liker. Gets it up to about the 18-yard line, but that's a 42-yard punt. So about a 9-yard return. Again, another nice boot from Jabe. 9 minutes to go exactly. Lancers by 4 scores.
Well, this Bell's defense that's played with a lot of pride and played pretty well. And the only touchdown allowing in the second half, the Lancers had the ball at the 9-yard line to start that drive. And so I think if Coach Jan to take away from this one is they've done well in the defensive end. I think also in terms of the discipline of this team, not a lot of penalties on the Bells versus St. Francis has really shot themselves in the foot a couple times in this game.
And Daly under center, I formation. White Knight, the running back, he gets the handoff, gets a couple of blocks, but the Bells plug the hole. And Magri there alongside Splain. And alongside Gudadaro. Ball at the 19, just a gain of 1.
Up comes down a 2nd and long. Bells able to make it tough on first down.
8:28 clock running. Bells 2-5 overall, 1-3 in WCAL play. The Lancers 6-1 overall, 4-0 in the West Catholic Athletic League. Play action, Daly looking far side, lofts one deep. Henry step for step and bats it away from Williams. Nice play by Izon again.
And we've said that so many times so far today. Izon Henry has played very well against 32 Evan Williams, one of the top receiver here for this St. Francis team, and really has made him a non-factor besides that tough back shoulder grab in the first half. Big props to Izon. Doing it all, running the football and playing perfect defense.
Yeah, Williams just 2 catches, 24 yards, has the touchdown. A lone touchdown through the air for the Lancers. 8:08 to go. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 9 from the 19. Fongupo, the back in the pistol. 3 receivers far side of the field. Delayed handoff, Fongupo breaks 1 arm tackle, has the first down, gets a nice downfield block, and breaks a couple more tackles. Finally tripped up beyond midfield by Jackson Sawyer. A huge gain, takes it to the 47. That's a 33-yard run. They mark him down at the 48, actually, of Bellarmine.
And Fongupo able to break out of that first level with a blocker in front of him. And the big body moving quickly down the field. St. Francis able to break a big gainer right there. And this offense, even in the late stages of this fourth quarter, continues to move the ball with ease.
Great downfield block by Matthew Azzopardi. Azzopardi, I should say, excuse me. The 5'10", 230-pound senior captain, the center for the Lancers. 7:34 to go, 1st and 10 from the Bellarmine 48. Hand off to Anthony Smith. Big hole inside the 35. Tackled by Ryan Hagberg. They're going to mark him down exactly at the 35. So Smith with his 2nd carry. And it's a 13-yarder and another Lancer first down.
And a first down on first down for this Lancer team.
And maybe you start to see the Bellarmine defense kind of wearing down. They've been on the field for quite some time here in the second half, Carlo.
Yeah, the Lancers definitely have controlled the possession game so far. And this Bellarmine defense, hands on their hips, very, as you mentioned, have had a tough a high order here against St. Francis.
High formation. Handoff Smith. Bigelow hangs on, brings him down behind the line of scrimmage. Ben Bigelow with the TFL, loss of 1.
So 2nd time the Bells have able to force a loss of yards on first down in this drive. And we'll see if they can continue that here. Luke Splain's going to come off. for the Bells with 6 as we approach halfway through this fourth quarter.
6:22 to go. 2nd and 11 from the Bellarmine 36. Smith the deep back, Robinson the fullback. Handoff is to Smith. Gets a nice block on the edge, and he is off to the races. Gets past Henry, who just hangs on for dear life and does bring him down, but not before a gain of 25.
It looked like Magri, trying to take the tough angle, ran into Henry, who was being blocked on the far side. And that kind of opened it up for Smith on the outside. Big time gain. And St. Francis rolling here with 6 minutes to play in the fourth.
1st and 10 from the Bell 11. Well, the Bellarmine defense did hang tough for a good chunk here of the second half, but now the big gains is starting to pile up for this Lancer offense. 5:43 to go, clock running, 1st and 10 from the BCP 11. I formation. Handoff Smith. Dragged down by Splain. Splain helped up by Smith there. Good sportsmanship. There's Bellarmine player down, and that's Hayden Lackaboo.
That's a key player here for the Bells. Plays both ways on offense and defense, and a big body blocking as well as getting to the quarterback. And Bellarmine already has taken a couple losses tonight. Torres, the center, went out earlier. Lackaboo looks like having that left leg able to jog off, which is a good sight if you're a Bellarmine fan. Well, the Bells really just playing for pride right now, Kevin. 5:22, 28-0 the score, and St. Francis at the 11-yard line. Here on senior night.
We'll start the clock back up again. 2nd and 11 from the 12. Lancers in the huddle as they're well on their way to their 7th victory of the season. They already have a winning season clinched. Handoff Smith off the right side of the line. Runs into Magri, who gets helped by Matthew Gustafson. And also Marcus Mifsud. Ball spotted at the 8, gain of 4 for Smith. That brings up 3rd and 7.
I think the tough thing, if you're the Bells here, Kevin, is you go back to the film room and if you're Coach Jandy, you try to look to where you can really need to really improve. There's a lot of areas on the offensive end, but this defense has been one positive here for the Bells. Besides this drive, St. Francis really has not been able to get anything going in the second half.
And off to Smith, bouncing it to the outside, tries to cut it back up the middle, but Reese Burrill right there. A guy to watch for a couple of years in the future here for the Bells.
4 minutes and counting here.
I expect the Lancers just run it here up 28-0.
Bells will, if the score holds, be shut out for the 2nd week in a row.
Stop the clock at 3:43. Gustafson gonna rush off, and they'll get Mason Ciari in there, number 66 for the Bells. And now they'll get the clock running again. So the Bells a chance to get a stop here on 4th down. And they will pass an end zone fade and batted out of the hands of Williams again by Izon Henry.
Henry has had Williams' number all night. Covered him like a blanket. Has played perfect defense. And really one of the bright spots of this Bellarmine defense. Number 11 is going to be a big player in the future for this Bells team.
Yeah, Izon Henry, a junior.
Son of defensive coach Mr. Henry.
Yeah, Mike Henry, longtime coach at Bellarmine.
Known for his unusually large calves.
He does have big calves. I'll give him that. 1st and 10 from the 9. Looking for Madriz Jinx. Oh, just out of the reach of Madriz Jinx.
Nice throw there by McGrone. I think a couple more strides. That ball was on the money. It looks like Jinx was a little stuck up there on the coverage.
Yeah,
and kind of took him.
Sprouse, number 27.
Kind of took him out of stride.
Yeah, deep reserves in here for St. Francis. Bells with 33 yards of offense here tonight.
St. Francis won a game 2 weeks ago with only 61 yards.
And there's a nice play for Hayashi. And he's close to a first down. I think he has it. Yeah, they'll give him the 11-yard gain, Hayashi, there.
And Hayashi's also, you talk about Henry Hayashi on the offensive end and special teams.
Yep.
Has done a really, really good job tonight. I mean, been able to put the Bells in good field positions, made smart plays, and a big-time carry there for first down to keep this drive alive.
Well, this is probably the last drive of the game for Bellarmine, so the last chance to avoid a shutout. Nice pass over the middle to Pinelli. He's past the 40, up near midfield, and dragged down by Logan Herman, just shy of midfield. A gain of 29 on the pass to Pinelli.
And just a nice connection between McGrone and Pinelli. McGrone knew where he was going with that football right as he got it from his center. Threw a ball on the money and gave Pinelli enough room to run for a couple extra yards.
6 of 16 for 75 yards as Harry McGrone came in, completing 43% of his passes for 718 yards. Screen toss out to Mongery, had a leap to catch that one, and it's going to allow the Lancer defense to rally. First guy there, Joe Pulaski. Be a loss of 1.
As we approach 2 minutes here, you'd love to see this Bellarmine team just put a score on the board. With 2 minutes down, you need a couple more passing plays over the middle to Pinelli, who's been your biggest producer so far.
2 minutes to go. 2nd and 11 from the BCP 48. It's a handoff to Hayashi. Hayashi cuts it back up inside. It's to the 40 for a gain of 12.
Yeah, Hayashi's done a fantastic job in space so far in this game. The 2 carries he's had have been big-time carries for first downs.
Yeah, 2 carries, 23 yards.
And that might be something Coach Janda looks at for their next game for the Bells.
And again, a reminder, these are the deep reserves for St. Francis, so not running against the first teamers, but still impressive stuff. Pump fake, here comes the throw. Madriz Jinx gets held up. It's going to be a pass interference, 1:19 to go. And that'll move the ball closer to the end zone.
So once again, the penalty helping out the Bells to keep the drive alive. McGrone trying to work the double move with Jinx on the near side.
Tyreek Madriz Jinx, 6'4", 180 out of Kip Hartwood. A ball at the 25. Still plenty of time to reach the end zone. Really end this game on a positive note, heading into the Valley Christian contest next weekend. McGrone looking for the end zone, intercepted. Matthew Craig with those.
And this 10-3 offense, besides that last drive against these reserves, it's just tough. As you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, Coach Janda said you got to put points on the board, and Bells were unable to all night.
I'll call it 2nd and 2 after an 8-yard gain officially. And there's the kneel down. And that will do it. The Lancers shut out the Bells. 2nd straight week, the Bells have been unable to put points on the board. This time they lose 28-0 and drop to 2-6 on the season after losing to the 7-1 St. Francis Lancers. Well, Carlo, you mentioned it. The defense a lot better in the second half. Played with some pride there, but the damage had been done at that point.